Men, why are you afraid of making your female partner upset? My wife tries to hide her annoyance till it becomes anger, so I've worked to get her to come clean with issues she has before the smoke leaves her ears. At the smoky ears stage, it's already too late. So her anger is built up of days of annoyances she's held onto because she doesn't want to inconvenience me. But my point is that the smokestacks inconvenience me and her living with annoyances inconveniences us both. I think it's healthy to verbalize any issues we both have so that neither of us actually become angry. I come with my grievances right away. It usually takes her maybe a day to speak on an issue of hers. It's getting better. I enjoy my wife in a good mood. I don't enjoy my wife in a bad mood. I don't think this would stop me from being honest with her. She doesn't get worked up just having tough conversations. But overall it's more enjoyable for everyone involved to be happy. This, I don't like when my wife isn't happy, and I like it less when I do it. I'll be honest and straightforward when I need to be, but I won't be an asshole. If there's an issue, I can either deal with it myself, or I can involve her and then deal with her being upset and still have to deal with the issue as well. I'm in brother. Partner does some out of line. Tell her how I feel. Next minute how I feel. Makes her feel bad. She's offended and now it's not about her original behavior, it's about something I've said. I guess that's why they say pick your battles. Next minute how I feel. Makes her feel bad. She's offended and now it's not about her original behavior, it's about something I've said. This is where you don't concede any ground. Her reaction is her problem, not yours. I don't like making people upset, much less one I'm spending most of my day with. Living with upset people just leads to more upset on my end too. No need for that. I try to actively avoid being an inconvenience to people I work with. That my job's kinda weird. I've never spoken to and probably never will. When I was dating I bent over backwards to try and make them happy and have a connection. Because you never hear the end of it. We had a fight over something dumb and 14 years later I still get it tossed into my face. Exactly this carrot. In my case, the reason was misguided/misplaced relationship expectations. I unilaterally took it upon myself to make my partner happy, and a huge part of that was not upsetting her. This was a pretty dumb move. I eventually got a tiny bit wiser and realized that my partner's feelings are not my responsibility. I don't actively try to make her upset, but I don't walk on eggshells around her feelings and I learn to communicate better. I think this is more common in men than most people realize. I was a habitual I don't want to upset her person. I realize it's very unhealthy and can lead you down a wrong path. I think my problem is psychological and stems from my upbringing. Reading Ask Men responses sometimes makes me feel real sad. Literally just trying to survive a relationship sometimes. On the upside it makes me feel better about being single. Been feeling good about being single. After reading through this post, I feel really good about staying single. All the women I've ever dated including my wife have always been able to hold on to their anger for much longer than me. If they F up, I usually don't get angry at all, or let it go within a half hour, even with no apology. When I F up they are pissed off for days and hold on to that S and ruin the whole mood of the house, no matter how much I apologize. Are we both married to the same woman? Over the years I've been slow to anger, quick to cool as my wife is quick to anger, and a toss of the dice for how quick she cools. It's made me slower to cool. My coolness is coming slower now. What I used to get over or forget in hours now lingers in my thoughts for days/weeks/months, because I'm not sure if she has gotten over or forgotten. Sometimes now I hold on to the anger for longer than she does. Yes, I think that's bad. This sounds bad too. I had a job that everyone worked so hard to not get fired, not to do a good job. Their motivation was to not get fired, aka keep their job. Super toxic. Eventually I did get fired, cause I hated it. I have to ask, how much do I do out of love, or how much do I do out of fear of angry wife? Well, if she's upset then I'm too. We can't really move forward until we sort it out. However, sometimes the truth hurts. I don't ever want to upset her. but sometimes she needs to hear the truth, as do I. Happy wife. Happy life has been drilled into so many guys and used by so many women to be pretty damn awful. Long past time to retire and kick to the curb any woman still holding on to it. Happy spouse. Happy house. Or walk. When I was much younger and would idealize my GFS, it was incredibly difficult for me to speak up at the risk of rocking the boat. Whenever a conflict would break out, I would just concede to whatever they wanted. Then, in my mid-20s, an ex put me through a devastating heartbreak. I learned a lot from that particular breakup, particularly that women can be complete assholes, too. And this was my saving grace. Up until then, I put all my GFS on a pedestal, to the point of making myself a doormat, and whenever things went wrong, I automatically assumed responsibility. But in that experience, I was like, wait, nothing I did, excuses, her cheating on me, I do not deserve this. She did this to me because I let her. It was a costly lesson, but one that I learned very, very well. You teach other people how to treat you. Since that experience, I simply do not shy away from conflict. When I F up, I accept responsibility for my bullshit. When I have a problem, I voice it. Even if it's unfiltered and unrefined, I expect to sift through the mess with my partner. Communication isn't always pleasant, but it's absolutely vital. The only way to get through it is to go through it. I give my wife a great more deal of grace in her mistakes than she does me. She also gets much angrier about things and stays angry longer. Too often I feel this. I remember when I was with my ex-wife, one of the arguments we were having, I told her, if I treated you the way you treat me, we wouldn't have made it a month. She said something to the effect of, so what? That doesn't matter, lol. I really don't want to generalize, but it just seems like so many women were just raised with expectations of what they want, and not a damn thing about what they should contribute to a relationship. And if they get angry / upset, all bets are off, and they can do / say whatever the hell they want. She said something to the effect of, so what? That doesn't matter, lol. Jesus. If someone said that to me, I would leave them. No question. I don't think enough people in this thread are appreciating that the reason they feel inescapably stuck with this problem is that they don't leave people who treat them like this. 1. I love her. I want her to be happy. 2. She takes it out on me when she's not happy. She takes it out on me when she's not happy. Why are you okay being in an abusive relationship, dude? Just dumped by my ex 4 weeks ago after 2 years for buying a PS5 and not spending my money on her. It took a lot of courage to buy something for myself, as she would be angry all the time at every move I made that didn't serve her. I'm done with you were her last words. No closure. No nothings. Life lesson. If someone dumps you 20 times, says it's your fault 100% of the time, walks around holding resentment and grudges over little things, compares you, gaslights you, avoids and ignores you during conflict, she ain't the one. Her behavior is a reflection of how she feels about herself. She needs therapy badly. It's easier for a man to be miserable than deal with a woman being miserable. Yeah. Especially when it's not a transfer of misery, just more to deal with. As an old retired guy with lots of relationships in my past, there is nothing I hate worse than living in fear of upsetting my partner. For that reason I became much more selective as I got older. Younger guys tend to be willing to do almost anything to keep their girl happy. Older guys have limits and would rather be alone than live with a succubus. Share your wisdom. Elder. How does one learn this power? You have to have the confidence to walk away when you know you made a mistake. Damn. That's some S to live by. It's generally for the reason opposite is the exception. Many men feel that SO's reactions are disproportionate to the problem. Whether that's true or not depends on the folks involved, but many of us have found that Oursos will drag S out for long periods, or that quick remark about something silly turns into accusations of infidelity. It's similar to the same reason many of us don't share our feelings. The reactions are so drastic, unpredictable, and unexpected that the risks outweigh any benefit of sharing. I came back from LensCrafters and told my wife my new prescription sunglasses would be ready in 10 to 14 days. She was like, OMG, why? She wasn't upset at me, but she was still having a ridiculous reaction to an entirely normal situation. It made me regret saying anything. I'm fortunate in that I'm married to someone who handles disappointment well and can work through negative emotions in a healthy manner, but in the past I've been in relationships where a small thing would last 4 days. I had been told my whole life that women are better at emotionally processing, so I assumed for a while that overreactions were normal. So to answer your question, I think the reason is bad past experiences and not being able to get to a healthy level of communication. So they are simply not willing to deal with the BS that comes with what they expect to happen. Thanks for answering. Yours was the answer that had the nuance I was looking for. I totally understand why someone shouldn't and wouldn't want to share something honest with a partner who reacts poorly. But if someone reacts well and takes responsibility for their side of the street, that's when I don't understand why someone would withhold truthful information. Your answer helped give more nuance, so I appreciate it. In my experience, the decision for women to leave me has always seemed very easy. I've never experienced a woman fight for our relationship. It always kinda just been that a line gets crossed, and by the time I become aware of it, they've already got a foot out the door. I've gotten better about setting boundaries and such, but it does suck feeling like standing up for myself also puts the relationship in jeopardy. Most already know they have many options, and in fact, might even be keeping a mental tally of them. Most guys don't have that luxury. I'm the only married guy in a friend group of single guys. I've seen the state of dating 4 guys right now. I downloaded Tinder once because I thought it might give me a confidence boost. Instead it made me realize that if I lose my current relationship I will likely never find another partner. So yeah, I'm gonna let stuff go fast when my wife is wrong, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I don't make a mistake. Reading this thread makes it obvious. Heterosexual guys love women and must make sacrifices in order to be with them, including letting them win arguments and also avoiding upsetting them. It's one of those unspoken rules that most men just understand. People are more sympathetic to an upset woman and more willing to be mad at guys that make women upset. It's a no-win situation. Because I'm not willing to sacrifice my sanity or my boundaries to please someone else's unrealistic expectations. There's a massive difference between upsetting your partner because you did something genuinely shitty and upsetting your partner because you did something they may not have liked, but they are not able to communicate their position without first trying to push you into a similar emotional state. Just because I'm not visually distressed it doesn't mean I don't empathize/sympathize, and a lot of the time, that reaction is met with being accused of not caring. And as someone who was in a relationship with a woman at one point who was willing to and frequently would resort to physical means when upset, I personally no longer want to potentially be in a he said she said scenario where there's potential for my reputation to be at stake if I have to resort to defending myself when someone is upset. It isn't a male friendship where, if my buddy is acting out of pocket, I can put him in a headlock and tell him to calm the F down before it escalates. Edit. Also, to some extent most men in relationships are playing some form of guessing game when it comes to the desires or feelings of their partner. Most men who have dated have been broken up with for a reason they didn't know about until they were told the relationship was ending. Many of those relationships were the type where, if the man asked the woman about her feelings, or made a guesstimate, they were told I'm fine, or berated for assigning perceived emotions to behavior. Every relationship I've had but one, my partner would hold on to that anger for days, creating a super stressful and toxic environment. Trying to talk about it was always a big ass show, because they assume I'm trying to dismiss or manage their emotions. No babe, I'm just getting ulcers from dealing with the stress of walking on eggshells. Same reason why you sweat when cutting wires on a bomb. Cut the wrong one and it blows up in your face. I DK about you, but I don't like cleaning up the mess that comes after. Your fault or not. Also, there are 100 wires and 99 of them are the one that sets it off.